Welcome back. As we celebrate World Children's Day, it is crucial to highlight the work of organizations like UNICEF in advocating for the rights and well-being of children worldwide. The commemoration of the day will be hosted this Sunday in the town of Walvis Bay. Heads of state from Botswana, Zimbabwe, Zambia, and His Excellency President Hage Geingob are expected to grace the event, as well as 200 children, and possibly the greatest highlight being a performance by South African songstress Yvonne Chaka Chaka, who will perform a song recorded in honor of the day. To divulge further, we're joined by UNICEF Namibia country representative, Mr. Samuel Ocran. Mr. Ocran, good evening and welcome to the show.
Good evening, and thank you for inviting me to your show.
Perhaps just to start with a bit of background, Mr. Ocran, talk to us about UNICEF's main focus areas and how they align with the organization's mission.
Okay, so you may know already that UNICEF is mandated by the UN General Assembly to advocate for the protection of children's rights, and also to work with government to meet their basic needs and to expand the opportunities that are available to children to be able to reach their full potential. Now, in Namibia and in most of these countries, we normally focus on marginalized children and young people who may be affected by many challenges, and especially in the hard-to-reach locations. So if you look at Namibia, we have a country program that we normally put together with the government of Namibia, and that program is normally aligned to the country's national development plan, and also aligned with the United Nations Partnership Framework Agreement, which we signed with the government. And all these are aligned with our global mission, and also to support the government to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. So Namibia, we have 4 programs. We have child survival and development. We have also a program for youth in particular and adolescents. And then we have child-friendly environment and also program effectiveness. Now, all these programs support children even before they're born through pregnant women, working with women, and most importantly, pregnant women and girls. And we support them throughout the spaces until the child is born, through to adulthood. Now, the approach we normally do is we look at the child and make sure the child's needs are provided holistically. And all these are in line with the our organization mission, which aims to make sure we preserve and advocate for the rights of children as enshrined in the UN Convention on the rights of the child, which basically provides basic rights of children in any particular country. Thank you.
Mr. Ocran, talk to us about the key challenges that UNICEF faces in its efforts to protect children's rights and how the organization addresses these challenges.
Right. I mean, the challenges are many, and also it depends on country to country. But specifically, if you look at Namibia, Namibia has a very young population. For example, between the ages of 13 to 17 years, we have up to about 10% of children that faces violence. And also for female population, about 5.1 also faces or experience sexual violence. So, but then there are other challenges. There are disparities, especially in Namibia, where we have disparities in income. We have about 51% of children in Namibia that are under 70 years living in multidimensional poverty. And this means that these children are deprived from basic child rights such as access to education, health, access to social services, among other things. And this percentage is far higher than even the adult multidimensional poverty rate, which is 37%. But having said that, I also want to commend the government of Namibia because the government has done a lot. For example, the government has put in place extensive legislation that contribute to creating the environment for children to survive or for children's welfare. But then the challenge we have is how to make sure that these policies reach and impact children on the ground, especially those in the hard-to-reach location in Namibia. Now, all these challenges, as you know, they are linked with each other. And as a result, we need all stakeholders to support government to make sure that we can bring a positive change to the lives of children and to give children opportunity so that they will be able to live to achieve their full potential.
This year, as an organization, Mr. Ocran, in commemorating World Children's Day, you're renewing your promise for children's rights. Tell us more about that.
Well, you may know that this is not the first regional event we're having. We've held two, one in Botswana and also the last one in Zambia. Now, all these two events brought together four heads of state. The president from Namibia, Zambia, Botswana, and Zimbabwe. Now, there were commitments made by the president to the children. And therefore, this event offers us opportunity to take stock of where we are with those promises and also be able to look forward. So, and then if you look at globally what is happening right now internationally, in some countries, children's rights are threatened. We have situations in other countries where a child dies every 10 minutes. And this threatens the rights of children. And therefore, it's very important that children are given the space to be able to raise their voices and also for the leaders to be able to also renew these promises that they've already signed up to as enshrined in the Convention on the Rights of Children. Mm-hmm. So now, if you look at the SDGs, we are 7 years to the SDGs, but we are far from attaining all the rights that are enshrined in there. And therefore, meeting to be able to renew these promises and to show our commitment, create the awareness, is therefore very, very crucial and critical. And that is what this is all about, for everybody to renew our promises for child rights.
Talk to us about some of the most impactful initiatives or projects that UNICEF has undertaken to improve the lives of children, in Namibia and even globally. Well,
I think you may be aware that UNICEF is almost everywhere in every country. We are present in over 150 countries, and we have programs just as we have here. Now, also, you may be aware, for example, like if you go back to COVID-19, we worked very closely with the WHO and other partners, the Global Alliance for Vaccine and others, to make sure there were COVID-19 vaccines in every location where we have children. So this is one of the jobs that we did. Now, the other thing also is that, for example, through the Transforming Education Summit, you may be aware that the UN Secretary General led and also UNICEF supported this advocacy at country regional and also at global level. And here in Namibia, in fact, the government of Namibia also took a very pivotal role by leading key discussions, especially at the African Union, to transform education for children, to create the access that is required for children, and especially also when it comes to digital learning. Now, also, for like recently, you may have heard, we supported the Parliament of Namibia in budget analysis, which then helps them to be able to understand the budget and also know where the key areas and also how to make sure the budgets which have been formulated are put or implemented properly. And for the Ministry of Education, Art and Culture in Namibia was able to use this, especially during the Transforming Education Summit, to define key spending priorities and reforms that they needed to be able to come up with the right education outcomes for children. And this led to review of the school grant to ensure equitable allocation as well for children in Namibia. But there are so many other things. For example, like we also have been working with the government of Namibia, especially the agenda on violence against children. You may know that violence against children, we have 45% for boys and 40% for girls. And we've been working with multiple partners to strengthen availability and also to create awareness of reporting mechanisms, and also to help to prevent and respond to incidences of violence, especially for those who survive it, and to create the child-friendly and enabling environment for children as well. There are many, but I think time will not permit that.
Yes. Well, back to the commemoration that's happening on Sunday in Walvis Bay. You seem to have quite an elaborate program. Kindly briefly take us through it.
Well, the main event will be held on the 19th. And the main reason this is 19th is Sunday. The main reason is because we do not want to take children out of school, because that is one of their rights as well. Children must be at school. So we don't want that. So we brought the event to 19th Sunday instead of the Monday 20th, which is the actual day for the World Children's Day celebration. However, children have been discussing this for quite some time. We have created a platform for them where they've been discussing issues affecting them, and they are doing it cross national among the 4 countries, Namibia, Zambia, Botswana, and Zimbabwe. So children from these 4 countries have been engaging all this while for the past over 6 months now on things that affect them and also happenings globally. So on the 19th, they will have the opportunity to interact with their heads of state to be able to find out from them where we are with the promises that were made in the past, and also things that they want the president to focus on now going forward. But before that, we're going to have all the children will be here on the 17th of November, which is tomorrow. Right now, as I speak, some of them have come. We have Zimbabwe and Botswana have arrived, and we are waiting for Zambia. So by tomorrow, they will all be here. Now, what is going to happen is tomorrow in the evening, there will be a gala dinner, which will be hosted by the mayor. The mayor will be attending, and the whole idea is to showcase Namibia hospitality, and to also to have the children have a taste of the Namibian culture and food. And then there will be cultural display also, because Yvonne Chaka Chaka is here, and she is going to perform at the event. with the children from Sunshine Center in the evening. Now, on the next day, which is the 18th November, the Saturday, we'll start the day with a march of children from all these 4 countries will assemble, and they will have a march through the principal streets of Walvis Bay, and they will be holding placards containing their messages for all of us. And then they will assemble at the sports center where there will be thematic discussions. And the areas of focus will be climate change, access to education, disability, violence against children, and many other things, and also the situations of conflict happening across the world that they are concerned about. And then on the 19th, as I've said, all the things that they've discussed so far, they will have the opportunity to engage with their heads of state and to be able to then have a call to action to the heads of state. And the heads of state will also have the opportunity to interact and tell them what they've done so far based on the promises that from the previous events. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ocran. It seems like the children are going to have a lovely time, and I appreciate your time this evening. It was lovely speaking to you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, and thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
Well, on Sunday, the World Health Children's Day will be commemorated at Walvis Bay. And as Mr. Samuel Ocran just explained, there's an elaborate program involving over 200 children coming from Botswana, Zambia, Zimbabwe, and of course, Namibia. We'll be right back after the short break. Stay with us.